Tonight I have with me Dan Cunningham, our Vice President of Construction Management for Kemper Sports, who is overseeing our construction projects at Galloping Hill, and Joe Abood from Kemper Sports, who is overseeing our clubhouse operations on a day-to-day basis. We were asked basically to come in and just give you a little bit of a snapshot of what's been going on, not only from a revenue and expenses perspective this year in 2011, but also from an update on the construction projects that kicked off over the summer. And we're just going to go ahead and give you a nice little highlight and give you some numbers and see if you want to have some questions. We'll go from there. Okay. Go ahead. As you can see, we're going to talk a little bit about our financials for 2011, a little bit about our update. As you saw tonight, we had our junior golf programs. We did have our State Golf Association announcement this year as well, and a couple of other things we're going to discuss. 2011, our revenue. Year to date, we're at a little bit over $4 million. We were projected, we had budgeted to do about $3.9 million, so we're exceeding that number. I'm going to let Joe talk a little bit more about those numbers and towards the revenue side, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Scanlon and Professor Freeholder Board. Quickly, I just want to go over some of the revenue highlights for the year, and they were highlights despite the amount of rain that we got this year and the amount of snow that we had earlier in the year and the hurricane and the earthquake and everything else that was going on. It was another banner year for Galloping Hill, Ashbrook, and Learning Center. 2010 revenues, we were at $3.9 million. This year, year to date, we're at $4.2 million. That's with the bad weather. And if you go back and you look at some of the history, back in 2008, say when we had 72 holes of golf, we did $3.6 million. So I think we are going in the right direction with the decisions that were made in the past by the board. So.
Does anybody know what happened in 2009?
That was the year that we actually went to construction on the driving range. We also we basically closed 9 holes. We also, we had a bad weather year. That was also another year that the whole month of June, we had basically lost the weather. So and we actually took a step backwards in our operations from having a revenue source in that single mine, which is a big portion of our revenues. And we did actually not have any food services or anything like that.
Next one I'd like to touch on is the driving range. 2010 revenues were about $383,000. This year we are projecting out at $499,000. The Learning Center alone, that's excluding food and beverage. That's just the driving range lessons. Food and beverage year-to-date totals are also going very well. 2009 you had it concessioned out, and I think you were only at about $24,000 a year from your concessions. 2010 we took that up to $275,000, and 2011 we're at $280,000. Touching on outings a little bit, previously we didn't really have outings here in Union County. It was just something that wasn't done in the past. And in 2010 what we did is we jumped that number up to 29 outings, and in 2011 we jumped that up to 54 outings. Outing rounds went from 891 in 2010 to 1,246 in 2011. The main reason you look at those outing numbers is these numbers right here. In 2010, total outing revenue was $83,000. In 2011, it's $103,000. And what that does is these outing rounds come to about $83 a round as opposed to a normal round, which is around $30 a round. So these are the type of things that pay the bills on a daily basis, having these events. We had a concerted effort to make sure the constituents always had a place to play. We never double booked. We always would have one facility open, so you could always find a place to play. So these outing rounds are very important to the growth in Union County. I'll turn it over to Dan Cunningham.
Madam Chair and members of the board, I just want to thank you for this opportunity to make this brief presentation to you tonight. On the construction and development update side, as you well know, we have 3 major capital building projects at Galloping Hill this year. The golf course service yard, the Learning Center building, and the clubhouse building. And the pictures that you have on the screen right now is the service yard building, 10,000 square foot, roughly at $160 a square foot. This is a couple of construction photos. They may be a little small, but the upper left-hand corner is part of the existing facility that is yet to be demolished. And on the right, you'll see the prefabricated metal building. I believe I said 10,000 square feet, which is now under roof. The lower left corner is a little different angle on that, showing that it is framed. And the lower right was early on during the construction of the foundation. The Learning Center, which is a 4,500 square foot building, which will be part of the tailor-made facility and a control building for the Learning Center itself, is a couple of shots here. On the left was when the steel was first going in, the foundation was in, the floor was poured. And these other shots are stages of framing, as you can see in the upper right, from the east side, or from the west side, looking at the building. You can see the roof structure, and that open area on the side there will be the grill. You can see the roof framing structure, and that's a shot of the building from the parking lot of the golf course. So it's a very nice structure. This building here obviously is the clubhouse from the rear elevation, which has been under construction. Basically, we gave the notice to proceed in July. Construction didn't actually start there until September. We wanted to hold off on beginning construction until after the major part of the season was Labor Day. So as you can see in the upper left is the original clubhouse there. In the lower right was early on in groundbreaking and some concrete pouring of some footings and foundations, and some wall construction. As you can see here, we poured today 250 yards of concrete, so we've just finished out the foundation walls on the main clubhouse, and you can see the service entrance in the upper right, which would be adjacent to the 10th tee. Some reconstruction of the 18th green that took place in order to give us room for the clubhouse, and just an overall section of the site there. So as we sit here today, the service yard is roughly 40% complete, the Learning Center roughly 30% complete, and the clubhouse roughly 20% complete.
And to reiterate, we stated that we have now committed this year to the New Jersey State Golf Association to a 20-year commitment to be a tenant in the building. We are in discussion and very close to finalizing two of their major events to be held at Galloping Hill in the coming years. One of them has never been held at a public golf course facility, and we should be announcing that very shortly. Their board is going to vote on it, and hopefully we can say something pretty positive here in the near future.
When you say coming year, you mean coming 20 years?
No,
coming year?
within the next 4 years.
Okay.
Two events within the next 4 years, and it'll be a nice feather in the cap for us to have this event. And there's a couple of pictures of some of the programs that we ran with our Parks Department, our Union County Disabled Golf Program at Galloping Hill. So we had a great turnout. And this was a pretty good one. We had Golf Style Magazine, which has about 11,000 subscribers in the tri-state area. Voted, out of the 11,000 golfers, they voted Galloping Hill the best public golf course, best bargain. And they've got about 11 categories that they rank, and some of the golf courses best private course, and they also have best outing venue, they have best public golf course, best practice facility, and I think in the next year or so, I think we're going to be pretty much taking a couple of those as well. That's about it. If you have any questions, I'd love to answer.
Just hoping less rain in 2012. That's all I got.
I just talked to Russ Harris, who's our superintendent at Gallatin Hill, is here also. We had about 70 inches of rain so far this year. Since August 1st, I believe we've had over 45. Our numbers are showing to be extremely positive from last year to this year. We're beating our revenues. And since August 1st, I think if we wouldn't have had that weather, we would be substantially ahead of those numbers. We would be way ahead going into August. Mother Nature kind of threw us a curveball, but we still, and through the construction as well, too, I must say, our numbers have held strong, too. They have not declined. We have not inconvenienced our golfers. We've been very cognizant of them. And we've taken care of them in the sense of that they're not feeling the brunt of our efforts.
And you're still golfing in December?
Yes, they are. No snow on the ground, are there?
Fabulous. It's great. I ride by and do a call.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate the